Hello there. I am Sensei Victoria Whitfield, your business Reiki master, and it's my joy to help empathic, spiritual entrepreneurs like you get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. Welcome back to another edition of your weekly love letters from the dojo at naturalintuition.com and my blog, victoriawhitfield.com. These are your sources for channeled holistic stress management techniques and guidance for developing your natural intuition. Whether you are looking to improve the quality of your personal or professional life, let this love letter be your reminder that you are not alone and that together we can make that happen. So this is week 4 of 5 of our deep dive on the courage, finding the courage to be yourself, your whole self, your true self. So if you haven't seen the previous few, hit pause, go back on YouTube or on my blog at victoriawhitfield.com and make sure that you catch up. For week 4, this week we're going to continue discussing the different stages that we go through on the path to being ourselves fully. And we're calling upon honeybee, spirit animal, our totem, for guidance, right? So that we can understand what's going on and what's needed for each transition. Last week we talked about the larva stage, right? Where we're going around and around in circles, and the way that we're able to transition, right, fully honor and receive being in that larval stage. It's necessary, right? We're receiving mother's milk, going round and around, seeking those nourishing, positive mindsets, positive beliefs, positive ideas and concepts and experiences. The way that we do that is go and consume it. Go read the book. Stop avoiding it. Stop avoiding and consume fully those resources that you're looking for, right? And all of those that are around you so that you can complete that discovery process. And what naturally comes as a baby continues to drink mother's milk is all of these wonderful hormonal changes and growth. And learnings come at an accelerated rate. So when we're talking about honeybee in particular, after larva, we turn into the worker bee. And this, as a honeybee, are those lovely people that you see floating from flower to flower if you have gardens, who are responsible for ensuring all creatures have food to eat going forward, right? It's their movement on a day-to-day basis in a coordinated way, a cooperative way that enables the rest of creation to be fertilized and continue forward. Honeybee is sacred, by the way, and if this speaks to you, by all means, please do support your local beekeepers, your people who are honey makers, as well as preserving the lives and researching the lives of honeybee. So go ahead. I'm not going to recommend a charity. It's up to your energy, right, and your research to find one that you vibrate with. But please do support our bees for the future. So when we're in worker, when we've moved past that going round and around and around, seeking for ourselves, right, seeking answers constantly, right, when we're in the larval stage of our life and business, remember, because we're looking at this as a metaphor, right, and a parallel to what we're going through in our own personal and business development. It's similar now as a worker. Instead of going round and around searching for answers for ourselves, now as a worker bee, you're going in a larger sphere, round and around looking for problems. Does that sound familiar? So every day, worker bee wakes up to go out and search and find pollen, to go and then bring it back, right? Go out and search for that nectar and bring it back, because worker bee is building something. Worker bee also is the master communicator by the dance, the amazing worker bee dance. And that's communicating the story. The worker bee's story is why they dance, so that others can then go and help them too, or help themselves too, to nectar, right? And bring it back to the hive. The purpose of the worker bee is to build, build, build. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Now, maybe you've been at the worker bee level for quite some time, where it's your joy to give and give generously, because there's nothing more fulfilling than contributing to something that is bigger than just you. Right at the larva stage, it's comfortable and to a certain extent and familiar, searching only for ourselves, answers for ourselves, healing for ourselves, right? We were in pain, or we came through a challenge, such as maybe getting laid off, or someone passing away, or there's an accident, etc., which forces us back into the larval stage where I've got to receive for me. Honoring that, there's nothing wrong with you if that's what you're going through. And there's a point where we feel more fully formed and satiated, more stable, and with a sense of agency, which, by the way, are wings. That's the symbol of power. In many different spiritual traditions, it's an elevated mindset when we finally grow our wings. And as the worker bee, we're spreading our wings to make sure that others that come behind us, remember from last week, the nurse bees that are worker bees, leaving that trail of mother's milk so that others can grow up abundantly in our wake. So as the worker bees, we're going, spreading our wings to share. And that is so gorgeous and beautiful and amazing. If that's where you're at, honor that. Make sure that as you're in your worker bee, that you feel like you are contributing to a purpose that is greater than you. Now remember, I mentioned last week, there's a third and final stage that's even past that. And we're going to get into it next week, but just for today, right, just for this moment in particular, you want to focus on giving, and giving in an organized, systematic, and highly communicable, right? Communicating openly, cooperating openly, just like honeybee. That's the level of giving that you want to focus at if you are worker bee. It's not good to be giving on a small scale or to be disorganized. One thing about honeybee, she's incredibly organized. She's one of nature's engineers. Yeah, and the way that she does it is through communication and teamwork. So if you're a worker bee, what you need are other worker bees to dance with who get it too, right? And to contribute to a cause that is bigger than you. The reason why, and I'll hint at what's coming next week, is because it's going to give you purpose. The greater your purpose as a worker bee, or as someone who is fully being herself, being himself, the greater your purpose, the closer you are coming to the third and final stage of being yourself, being the healer, right, as we talked about in week 2. I'm hearing the oracle cards like, we need to talk. Here we go. Goddess guidance deck we're journeying with all month. Let's see. What are you ladies shouting about? Goddesses, what do we need to know about honoring the worker bee, right, in this level of our development? Oh, beautiful. Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. Here's where we're going to leave off this week. I often speak to the achiever in all of us. And sometimes we're coming to the activity of giving and contributing, thinking that I'm not enough, so if I give more, then maybe I'll be something, right? Or maybe that'll make me worthy because I've given more than anyone could ever ask of me or expect of me. And that's not the case, right? It's hard to give abundantly, systematically, in an organized way, and one that is highly communicated, if you don't love yourself first. One of my most favorite people on the planet, RuPaul, says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to expect to love somebody else? Right? Be kind to yourself. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be, because that love, that is what carries through all. That's what makes this sustainable. So go ahead, send me an email back. What comes up for you? Did you need to hear this week? Or is someone coming to mind who's supposed to hear it? If so, hit that share button. Let your tribe know that it's okay to honor the worker, and this is how you do it. This is how we do it. Mwah! And subscribe, by the way, on YouTube so that you get these love letters first every week. And we'll see you next week for the third and final stage. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.